An attempt on the 16th President of the U.S.
Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809 in the state of Kentucky in the family of a poor farmer. From childhood, Abraham was used to hard work, helping his parents cultivate the land, hunting and gathering wild berries.
At the beginning of the 19th century, many dangers awaited farmers. Indian attacks, epidemics, land depletion forced them to often move from place to place. At the end of 1816, the Lincoln family moved to Indiana. On October 5, 1818, Abraham's mother, Nancy, died. And a year later, on December 2, 1819, his father remarried Sarah Bush Johnston. She was a widow with 3 children of her own who became a friend to Abraham and his older sister Sarah. Hard farm life prevented Abraham from receiving even primary education. He himself spoke about it like this.
It is certain that when I came of age I knew little, however. I read and pondered and wrote, and that was all I could do.
In 1832, Lincoln took part in the elections. For the first time, however, he took only 8th place in the elections to the Illinois state legislature. In 1834, the young politician was elected on the list of the Whig Party to the Illinois state legislature. The next step in the political career of Abraham Lincoln was his election to the House of Representatives of the U.S. Congress in 1847. Work in the Congress opened the possibility to apply for a place in the country's government. However, by opposing American aggression in Mexico and the policies of President James Polk, Lincoln made many political enemies. The fact is that the USA pursued an active policy of seizing the lands of neighboring countries, especially Mexico. With the help of weapons and money, the Americans in the first half of the 19th century increased the territory by 3.5 times. The majority of the aggressive population of the country supported the aggressive actions of the authorities. Lincoln, a staunch opponent of wars, strongly opposed the American invasion of Mexico. He said that the government's actions, the political course of the Democrats, leads to new wars, territorial conquests, and the further spread of slavery. On November 8, 1864, Lincoln was elected President of the United States for the second time. He won over General McClellan with a difference of 10%. Lincoln directed military actions and in every possible way contributed to the victory over the rebel states. The northern states led by Lincoln won, and the country was saved from disintegration. John Wilkes Booth, actor, ardent supporter of the Confederacy. Initially, Booth planned to kidnap Lincoln, hoping to exchange him for Confederate prisoners. But on April 11, 1865, he listened to the president's speech in which he announced the granting of voting rights to African Americans, and, outraged, changed his plans. Having learned that the First Lady would come to the performance at Ford's Theater, he carefully planned the operation his supporters were to kill Vice President Andrew Johnson and Secretary of State William Seward. Lincoln arrived at the theater to see the play Our American Cousin on April 14, 1865, without his bodyguard Ward Lemon. The president occupied the state box. Booth crept up the back and waited for what he thought was the funniest line in the play, hoping the laughter would drown out the sound of the shot. When the laughter started, Booth jumped into the box and shot himself in the head at close range. Major Rathbone immediately grappled with him, but Booth wounded him with a knife. The assassin leaped onto the stage and shouted Sic semper tyrannis, in Latin, thus always with tyrants. He managed to escape, despite the fact that he broke his leg jumping from the bed. He was captured 12 days later in Virginia, wounded in the capture. He soon died of his wounds. Called military surgeons using a probe found a bullet and fragments of the skull at a depth of 15 centimeters in the brain. On April 15, at 7:22 a.m., the president was declared dead. Lincoln's body was taken in a funeral procession through the territory of several states to Illinois. The memory of Lincoln is immortalized in a memorial located on the Esplanade in the center of Washington in 1914 to 1922, symbolizing the president's belief that all people should be free. The building symbolizes the United States. It is supported by 36 columns, according to the number of states during Lincoln's presidency.
All information was taken from Wikipedia, Wikibon, YouTube, Internet, The work was carried out on the topic of known attempts on life for the purpose of familiarization with history. Thank you for your attention.